Alright, haven't filmed anything on YouTube in a while, but got to get back into it. I got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of projects. So the first one is going to be building an exhaust for my dad's 600 horsepower Mustang. This is a 65 K-code Mustang. It ran A-sedan and Trans-am back in the 60s and has been a race car its whole life. Never was on the street. Did road rallies, did a little bit of ice racing, a lot of really cool stuff with this car. It is like the car that will never be sold by my family. This car is just the car. You know, this is what my dad actually spent the wedding money on to buy this. There's a little bit of stuff on it right now, but that's because I'm cleaning up the whole shop. But makes 650 horsepower on an engine dyno out of Ford small block, and it's a monster, absolute monster. But we ran into some problems last race weekend that we ran it, where basically I was going under the car just checking over everything before we went out, and figured out that we had a massive hole in our exhaust. So if you look right here, the gap was this big. So about an inch gap was there. So I just butter welded it. You know, I got the MIG out. We dropped the exhaust, brought it back to our shop here, and I butter welded it. There was also this hanger here. I also had to butter weld because it was completely rusted around also. So, you know, this older exhaust, about 20 years old, this old exhaust. But right here we have some Black Widow exhaust kit. I forgot what the pricing on it was, but it was actually pretty reasonable. Vibrant performance clamps right here that'll attach to the header. We do plan on getting new headers, because the current headers are quite old. You know, they're rusty. A couple years ago we had to actually weld them in a certain spot. I think it was this cylinder number 1 right here. But yeah, so the whole idea of this exhaust system is we want it to be pointing out the left side, the right side of the car on the passenger side, because the car is so loud that it damages my dad's hearing, literally. He has to wear earplugs, and obviously is the soundproofing in his helmet, but it's just not enough. So that's why we're trying to have it angle out. As you can see, we're going from an H pipe to an X pipe. The car will be louder with the X pipe, most likely, but it flows better and should allow for better pressure on both sides of the engine, which is one of the main things I'm kind of focusing on by changing from the H pipe to the X pipe. But the biggest problem is exiting the X pipe because it points out. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to try to keep a good length and not have it separate like how it is now. This is just a mock-up. I'm thinking I might do some pie cuts. So over there I have a bandsaw, and I'm probably gonna end up doing pie cuts to get the right angle, because I would like to have it nice and clean and have this tight look. I'm also, because it only has one hanger on here, I'm gonna have to remake this hanger. So I'll probably steal this rubber to do it, or cut up a tire actually to do it. But I will have to make a hanger, and then I'm gonna tie it in with some bars on the bottom to hold it together. So I have some pieces of flat metal right here. I don't know how big these are, but I'm gonna cut them in half, and I'll probably have 2 or 3 little bars on the bottom of this to hold it. So that's the idea for now. We have a lot of 180s and some 90s, so it'll be interesting. I know I'm going to use all of the 45s though. That's a guaranteed. thing that's gonna happen. Probably gonna have the 45s come out here. Well, so my dilemma is trying to use the materials wisely. So, you know, with the 45s like this, they obviously come in. So maybe I'll do maybe a 90 or something like that and cut it off short or something like that. You know, that's where the pie cuts come in, because I want to keep it as straight as possible. So like having a 90 like this isn't going to flow very well. So I want to keep it as straight as possible. So basically both of these tubes are guaranteed to be used for this section right here going back, and then I'd cut them at an angle going out. But the this tube and that tube will be kind of like the purge tubes, so that's what I'll probably end up using for the pie, one of them for the pie cuts and the other one for just the gapping in between the pie cuts. It's going to take a while. This is probably going to be a 2 to 3 day project, but I'm also trying to clean up the whole shop because we will be getting another spec Miata soon. Alright, so got it cutting a little bit more. I cut the 45 in half. Came out really good. One side was just a little bit off. You know, it wasn't perfect, so I just took off a little bit more on this guy. So I'm just gonna clean up the edge because obviously it didn't cut straight. So, but yeah, it came out pretty good. Should be coming out pretty damn good. All right, so I just tacked the X pipe here, and it's looking pretty good so far. So I cut this 45 into a 22.5 as I showed you guys before, and I'm going to use these other 45s right here. That's how I'm going to get it close. I'm going to have a smaller tube right here that I'm going to cut off that guy, or maybe I'll use an extra length from that. But that doesn't matter right now. What matters is getting this front piece going. So that's where my dilemma is. I might not use that 45 actually. I might do a pie cuts on both sides because I figured out how to use the bandsaw fully. We've never really used it to its full capabilities. So right here, I basically have to find the center line of the tube now, which I just watched a video on how to do it. I'm going to rewatch it again to make sure I got it right. But I will be able to use the center line of the tube to find the correct angle for this guy to cut, and it's going to be like 3 pie cuts-ish to be able to get the correct angle that I want, but hopefully it comes out right. So yeah, and then I'll use probably a little bit of extra length from this guy to extend it to the flange that I got right here. So yeah. Alright, so after further watching more YouTube videos, I learned a trick. So you tape this guy, and then you remove the tape after putting a line, and you have it cross over slightly. And where it crosses over, like there, you pull it off, put it on your bench, measure it with your tape measure, put a line down the center. But because this is a 2.5 inch and the jaws on this guy are small, I did it into quarters. So as you see, I have 4 lines on here, all in perfect quarters of it. And I marked on the jaws with a Sharpie, you can't really see it very well, where the lines need to go. And because this is, once again, a 2.5 inch, we're putting, oh, tube just fell on my back. You put the jaw at half of what the angle I want. So I want 22 here. I'm putting it at 11. So when it cuts, hopefully it cuts straight. The problem is that the blade doesn't cut exactly straight. So that's my only dilemma. But I'm gonna have to do one cut, which will be a throwaway cut, and then I'll have the actual cut. And then hopefully I'll get another 22 like this, because I don't want to cut the 45s because I'm going to use the 45s there like this. So, should be good. All right, so got our 2 pie cuts here, came out pretty good, pretty consistent. So I'm gonna put only, so the idea is that these guys are gonna come out straight, but this I'm actually gonna only put, I would love to stack them, they'd look great on here, stacked like this to get it to go straight, but as you can see here, it bends out more. And if I put them straight, then they're only gonna have the same distance. If I stack them, I'm gonna have the same distance as I do here. And we don't want that because that distance is not wide enough. That is, let's see here, only 6 inches. And we need, if I look back over to my cardboard, I need 12 inches on the inside and 18 on the outside. So if I point these guys out, I'll get the tube running wide, and then I'll figure out when I figure out how long I want it to be, then I'll stop it there and have a straight cut across to get it to work for this guy. So that's the idea. Just finished full welding the first piece. I'm about to do this piece. Just kind of getting the hang of stainless steel in this thickness, but it's coming out pretty decent. Got to work on my heat. Obviously, kept it kind of consistent. It'll get better throughout the exhaust, though. This is where I started and stopped here, though, so it's obviously going to be a little rough there. Still learning, but about to do this guy now. Started getting the hang of it with this gap here that I have. So started coming out pretty clean. Hopefully gonna get even better. All right, so day 3 now. Finished early again yesterday, like I did the first day. Went rock climbing. But my dad helped me out and finally got these cut because they weren't, the holes weren't close enough for our header bolts, header studs that come out of the end of the header. So I was just kind of waiting on getting that done. I was trying to get it done yesterday, but wait to drill it out on our drill press. But yeah, so we are going to be putting these guys on right now. So I'm gonna tack it and then I'm gonna full weld it. And then from there, I'll move to the back part, and really all it is figuring out length, and then I'll cut those short so then I can make 2 different exhaust tips. So I'm gonna make ones that are like this, these old ones, just one initially, and then I'm gonna try to make teardrops because I think a teardrop would look sick on this car. Purely out of interest. It's not something that would be like vintage, but it's a hot rod thing, and I think it'd be pretty interesting, so. All right, I'm about to do a test fit with this under the car, so we'll see how it goes. All right, so I just tacked on this 45, which will give me the angle for this, but as you can see, it's a little bit off. So I might do the same angle that I had as the very low angle pie cuts, because this guy was the tube that I cut it off of. And with that just small angle cut, it gets me that straight shot out. Because, although I didn't show you guys, this exhaust, the old exhaust, kind of shot, instead of straight out the side of the car, it shot a little bit angled at the tire. So I want to have it even more out straight out the side of the car. So I'm probably going to do that. I cut that 45 shorter so then they come together, and then I'm going to put I'm going to cut this guy in half down the center like that. And I'm going to have two pieces like this in here to hold it from the bottom to hold the exhaust together, because it's only held on by one hanger. So, alright, I've gained a Sharpie mark to my face, and we are almost done. I have to make the tips now, but, and obviously full weld these. But, I have my length, I have my extension pipe there, all that. It's looking pretty damn good. I'm liking the gapping there. I also cut out my pieces that will lay across like that. I'm gonna weld them like that. I'm gonna have two of them. So I'll have one there, and then I'll probably have another one right about there to hold it. And yeah, so I'm gonna test fit it on the car, see how long I need to make the tips. I do want to have them longer than the previous ones. The previous ones only came out to about here on the car, so kind of sunk in. I'd like to have them out about here, you know, so about at the same height as the rocker panel, you know, same length at least. So that's the goal. I have to find the bolts to bolt the front part on, because honestly I lost half of them. I kind of punted them when I was cleaning around the car after I first took them off. But yeah. Alright. Oh. A while later, and we have the tip. So it's gonna be downturn the first one because I cut it kind of weird. My hair's terrible right now. Anyways, so I have to cut a chunk out of this so I can angle it sideways, because with the way the exhaust angles right now, it'd just be going back. So I'm gonna cut it so then it pops out like that. So I got this guy right here because I cut it out. This guy killed the blade on that and doesn't fit in there, so I can't cut it on that. I have a vertical bandsaw also, or horizontal, I can't remember. It's lemonade number 3, so it's like 6 or 7 o'clock now. Pretty tired, but I'm gonna get this done today. So I'm gonna set the angle on this guy. I'm gonna get this guy cut. Honestly, the only reason why I haven't been using this the whole time is it's really loud, shoots a bunch of sparks, takes up a bunch of table space. But it's what I need right now, so we're gonna use it. All right, got both of them done. The second one came out a lot more even than the first one, but side by side, hopefully it'll look like that from the outside of the car. It'll look amazing. It's gonna be real cool. So I'm gonna tack this first one on, and I'm gonna fit the exhaust again, and then I'm gonna start full welding. All right, I have fully welded the whole exhaust. I put in these 2 bars here. I have my tab for the mount at the back, and yeah, the exhaust tips came out great. Excited to see it on the car. I'm about to bolt it in right now. Alright, so finished up everything last night at around 11:30. Just kind of pressed through, tried to get this thing done. But it is on now, and it looks fucking sick. So, look at that. I mean, just takes the whole look of the car to another level. It'll look a lot cooler on the ground, but It really looks good. If the camera adjusts to the light under here, you can maybe see it, but yeah, tracks super nicely across the car. I'm gonna start it up now. Camera just died, but holy shit, I'm gonna call that a success. Car's a lot louder now too. So I'm on my phone, but oh my God, that was, wow. I mean, like you can't hear it in the video, but there's a noticeable decibel difference. This car is gonna be even crazier next time we take it on track. I'm really excited to hear it on track next time.